What happens in Jersey stays in ends up in Jacqueline and Jackie's text messages. This is the Real Housewives of New Jersey reunion part 2.
Are unhappy.
You feel like a hater.
I don't like her tone.
I wish you would tell Margaret to shut the up.
That's not a nice person.
There's no door, asshole.
You're gonna respect me more than that.
Everyone's got skeletons. We're gonna go get there.
Hey, everybody. Ronnie Jr., how we doing? How we doing? Oh, you're still on mute. Sorry, I pulled a Teresa on you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and
Verizon,
clear.
can you hear me? I was gonna say, and the crowd goes wild because people love the crowd, sound effect that we have. But you know what? We do what we do.
You know what? I specifically did this cheer around this time for that person who commented on our cheer squad this time around. So, because like I said, if you don't applaud yourself, who else is going to applaud you? And if you don't know that you're the baddest bitch in the room, I'm sorry. How else do you want anybody else to recognize you? So, sir, for you who wrote the comment, stay right there and go. Keep it locked in because we're going to teach you a thing or two. And anyways, everybody, welcome back to the Real Housewives of New Jersey, season 13, reunion part 2. I'm Russell Ray, your
your host with the most. I don't know.
I'm one of your co-hosts with the most, and I'm alongside my co-host with the most as well. Randomly, Ronnie Jr.
Maybe we did not earn that applause like we thought we did.
Baby, that remix that I just did when I was trying to talk.
Oh man, yeah, that's your little TikTok, clip. No, the thing is, we're both busy within our schedules. I am also no stranger to it, but you with your schedule too, and busyness. Waking up at a 4 or 5 in the morning. We both have done stuff of that nature. Yeah. I'm taking a midday nap. Now I'm not going to get into what happened in the nap. I told Russell before we started the show. It's like between all of the craziness on Jersey and some of these accusations, and some of them are so much. And then I decided to take a little midday nap because I get up quite early as well before our show. Stuff just gets in your mind. I mean, I woke up feeling like I needed a hug. So, Russell, I hold nothing to you if you also are going through your little hiccups. You know what I mean? We do a really good recap show. We, of course, love Melissa Gorga. We constantly say that Dolores is bringing it. And I don't know why people try to make it like she's not, or she's been kind of playing it safe. I think there is a moment that she does, and we'll get to in the recap. There is a moment where she does need to not necessarily play the fence, ride the fence, twerk on the fence, whatever it's called. But for the most, that's recycled. That is not my joke. That is from a YouTuber that we watch that we like. The great Kempire says that quite a bit. He's fantastic. No, I don't know him personally, but I'm saying as an inspiration, he does a really good job. But the bigger point is, we feel that Dolores is like a baddie regardless, so there's just so much this season, and I feel like it all stops here on episode 2 because the lying, it's impossible to lie anymore. You just got to be who it is because you're gonna find out, yes or no.
Sorry, go ahead. You're gonna find out what?
No, you're gonna find out was or wasn't I set up. Not I, but one of the cast members felt set up.
Absolutely. And actually, I was going to say another point with Dolores is that Dolores has upgraded. She is no longer Dolores. She is Dolo.
Yeah.
Like that's what everyone's calling her, Dolo. So Dolo has officially have a nickname. You have Tree, you have Melissa. That's not really a nickname. And then you have
Melly
Jen,
or yeah,
Jen,
yeah.
and then Jen, and then Jen, and then Jen, and then Jen, and then Jen.
You say what?
Out of
Say what
all the
now?
seasons. Anyways, if you're just joining us, our word today is going to be set up. So if you feel like you've been set up, go ahead and take a drink. Whether you're having an adult beverage, if you're 21 or older, or if you're just having water so that you don't stay thirsty, go ahead and have a drink. Every time you hear this word, go ahead and take a drink.
I'm doing the water because of the air quality in New York City happens to be the worst. Can you even hear it in my voice? I'm like,
Okay,
I
look.
sound
So
real.
for
Mhm.
everybody that does not know, Ronnie Jr. is in New York right now. I
Yeah.
actually just got to New York not even an hour ago. We're just on different sides of town, and we wanted to bring you the show, so therefore, like, we're making this
Mm.
happen.
Mhm, mhm.
But you're absolutely right. This air is so thick, and it's atrocious. This is like what we get
Yeah.
in California on a regular.
Yeah. Well, this
And
is even a little deeper than that too. I mean,
yeah,
yesterday I was busy doing what I was doing, and then towards the end of the day, I just could not stop coughing, and then it made it hard too when I went to sleep. Or tried to go to sleep.
yeah,
You try to take those deep breaths to relax yourself.
yeah.
You couldn't. So today I in the middle of the day I got like a bunch of water, and it won't be lost on me. I will be drinking every of the just a little cheap water because you got to hydrate. It's bad.
To be honest, I probably won't go to the gym today just because I don't want to be huffing and puffing with like this like air and that
Mhm.
what's streaming through. God, I feel like Teresa. I just can't get anything out right now.
Oh,
Lord.
well, she's been doing that for all these seasons, so hasn't seemed to damage her yet. Although today, oh, this part two. I mean, I want to talk about some of the fightings as we bring it up, but man, she just the one that got me, Russell, and I know I'm probably jumping the gun, but I'm gonna say it so I don't
Tell
forget.
me.
She says, I think she was talking about something. She goes, and I like felt bad, which was a crock anyway. It wasn't that she felt bad, but she said, "Well, I felt bad." And so the Melissa jumped in and she goes, "You should have." And then 2 seconds after saying that, then she goes, "Well, no, I shouldn't have." And it's like, okay, your "I'm feeling bad" is a lie. You didn't feel bad. You did it with malice. But then when Melissa says you should have felt bad, she goes, "No, I shouldn't have." Like she can't even keep her perspective and point of view straight. This Teresa gal. She can't keep the actual like what's going on up here. She can't keep
Mm-hmm.
it through one sentence, through one argument. This is what makes who she is. It makes now it's all becoming very clear, although it's been for years. She goes to the loud, the table nudge, not flip, table nudge. Did the table flip, Russell, in that first season episode, the finale?
I would say like rock the table, almost like rock the cradle, but it's rock the table. Rock the table, don't rock the table, baby. Rock the table, don't tip the table over. You know what I'm
Wow. Whoa,
saying?
whoa, I love that. This is great. The quality entertainment you get today.
Okay. You're getting vocals in bad air
Mhm.
quality. You're
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
comedy. You're getting joke, laugh, ha ha, funny. You're getting all of it.
Yeah. No, but she's just so funny to me, and I never thought she flipped the table. But the bigger point is she's been adored all these years, and we're just seeing so easily when she can't like communicate her way out of something or maintain her lie, she just goes to something very angry, and it's very unfun to watch. So it was a tougher episode in terms of all that, but every other, a lot of other cast members had some really good moments for sure.
Well, let's get right into it. You want to go to the first topic, which is our text thread that Melissa got a hold of from Jackie between Jacqueline and Jackie about Teresa. I I mean, we saw this in the previews already, like or the leaked footage that came out on Instagram and on TikTok. We saw it. But I was
Do you like that they do that?
that people leaked the footage.
As a recapper, I guess, it throws me off. Like, I'm like, "Didn't I already see this? Did we talk about
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah,
last
yeah,
week?"
yeah.
Like,
That
it's too
happens.
early, and I love it for the fan base for sure, so I'm not gonna knock it, but then for
Yeah.
us, I'm like, "Did Russell and I cover this?" Like, I literally got not mad, but I was like, "Did we miss this whole thing?" And I'm like, "No, it wasn't even out until after your last recap." So,
Yeah. I mean, it allows me to dig for a lack of words right now. It allows
Mhm.
me to dig and get more insight on what I want to speak about on the show prior to the airing of the second part of the reunion. So it's a pro and a con because it can be an asset to us, but it also can be a disservice to us because we're then going over something that everyone's already heard about.
Yeah.
But what I was really intrigued about with the whole text thread is that Jacqueline would actually send that to Jackie, and then Jacqueline would post an image of her and Teresa on Instagram stating how much they had nothing to do with how much they both dislike Melissa, let alone know that she has sent these messages out already. So it's like you're very messy,
Mhm.
just messy boots all the way around with Jacqueline and with Teresa. Like, if you're gonna do dirt, you gotta be clean. You gotta be clean about it. You can't you
Or
can't
don't.
cut your nose off to spite your face and shoot yourself in the foot. Like, you can't do these things. You can't come out guns blazing against these women. And I probably should use a better
Well,
phrase.
these cast members, because everyone we're only getting as much as we get through the person as a cast member. So
Yes.
we know them as much as we know them. We don't know them fully, of course. But the point that I think you're speaking on is how if it was Jacqueline, and who knows, maybe this did happen, although Teresa didn't say it happened, so I guess it didn't. But if you're Jacqueline and you do get this, I guess, opportunity, have this dynamic moment, which was totally, you know, arced in a way. I think in that 5-hour conversation, yeah, if I was Teresa, I'd feel real stupid right now because they had a 5-hour conversation. So if you're having a 5-hour conversation, you could get into the all the meat and the potatoes of the stuff that you're gonna, for Teresa's sake, utilize at the reunion. But Jacqueline could say, listen, I got to tell you, though, things have not always been peachy keen between us. So to let you know, I've had correspondence with Jacqueline, like with Jackie from the show.
Oh,
Why didn't that come up on Jacqueline's end? Don't you think that was something she should have done?
yeah, for sure, for sure, for
Because
sure.
I don't even think Melissa or the husband who's really running the show these days, I don't think they would even be mad because their whole thing was this was a play. This was an entire set, like not setup. This was a setup. Yeah,
Yeah.
meaning and I've referred to this on our past episodes how upsetting it was to see her say no, 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 it was just about and this is we're not knocking this part of it. It was because of my son, or her new son, her stepson,
Hmm.
and Jacqueline has a son, as well, and they
Hmm.
have some similarities. No one's knocking that, for the record, but I've
Yeah.
mentioned this before, that she almost as a script has said the exact same thing every time she was asked, why would you go hang out with Jacqueline? When in the reality, it was never about that. Not that that wasn't part of their lives for sure, but it was
Yeah.
to go ahead and hit and hurt and embarrass whoever, Melissa, or, it was to make a scene. The problem with Teresa this whole episode, and I will really lay back after this, the problem with her this whole season is she's just been involved too much. She hasn't been off the hamster wheel. It's a problem for her.
Hmm.
She knows production way too well, and she knew she was gassed up, and she started to believe Twitter too, which is why I love that on episode 1 of the
Hmm.
reunion. Melissa says, why are you getting your stuff from like recycled social media stuff? Like, come up with your own thing, because that's exactly what she's doing. Her
Yeah.
own fans have ruined her. Teresa literally may be shown the door. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but she might be shown the door because her silly ass fans have ruined her. They have gassed her up, and they're not the ones sitting in the boardroom in the meetings. They're
Yeah.
not the one who really understand what the long game should look like. They're not even
Yeah.
in that situation where anyone wants to work with them like that. And they
Yeah.
gassed her up, and they gassed her up. You do that along with the knowledge of what it is to produce a show, along with the knowledge of you're getting the big juggernaut, which was the wedding. I say that even Jen operated differently because she knew my best girlfriend has the wedding. We're winning this season.
Yeah.
Teresa had that same element. She did it 10 times further to spite herself, as we're talking about,
Hmm.
and to the point where she's like, I'm untouchable. She thought she was untouchable, I mean, she said it to Andy, like, or not to Andy, but like, oh, you're not going to be around. And it's like, he's like, really? You're going to tell me how to
Yeah.
run the show?
Yeah.
you
Here's the
know,
thing, though. I mean, we'll get back to the text messages in just a few. Actually, we're done with the text messages because this is leading into the next thing.
Mhm.
I don't know if Jersey is going to be around that much longer because all things, like Simon Cowell has said, all things come to an end and you got to
Mhm.
know when to walk away from the party. And I think this could be an okay closure for right now for Jersey and for Andy to pull the plug on
Mhm.
Jersey. Not to say that I don't love the cast and that I don't love a lot of the people on the cast. I do. I love them all. Even Teresa and her madness, like I've watched her girls grow and I've watched Teresa go through turmoil and come out on the other side of it. And good for her because she was able to come out on the other side of it. I just think right now is a good time to pull the plug for about a good 3 to 5 years.
That's a long time.
It is, but as we're seeing with New York was revamped in like an all new way. And Bravo's new crown jewel at the moment is Real Housewives of Potomac.
Mm.
And
Well,
sometimes it's
it
good
had
to
it had a tougher season too. They're all kind of doing
they
not the
they might
greatest.
have had a tougher season, but their ratings are there.
Okay.
And that's what they're doing is their ratings are really outbeating all of the other out of the other franchises. Real Housewives of Atlanta is having low ratings as well, and sources are saying that it's potential that two castmates. I don't want to name them just because I don't want to
Mhm.
put
We don't
that
do that.
bad juju out there.
We don't do that. Yeah, no, no.
But that potentially two of the castmates could be shelved. If not, then the whole season could be shelved, or the whole franchise could be shelved, which I don't see a problem with because there's so many other cities that we can move on to. We can move on to Real Housewives of San Francisco. We can move on
Yeah,
to
that would
Real
be good.
Housewives. There's a lot of different Real Housewives of San Diego. There's a lot of big spaces that we can fill,
Mm.
and sometimes you just gotta move on to the next city, next area. Go ahead and do the road map and do the tour. All things don't last forever,
Yeah. Well,
and
also they should be creating new shows, different
yeah,
concepts, different friend groups. Like
yeah,
the thought of like let's just really dip into this housewives thing is too much. Why don't we have, like the old days, like a designer, like a posh hairstylist,
yeah.
a hairdresser and, his lifestyle, a house flipper, like all that stuff really was fun to watch. And now we're not really getting any of that.
No,
We talk about how I mean, we're both on the East Coast right now, but it very well could be you get a dynamic group of gay guys in the Long Beach area and really just like unpack all that. I mean,
don't give away our idea now.
okay, sorry.
But first of all, this is being streamed live on YouTube, so this has been time stamped and dated. So if anybody comes out with that show idea, me and randomly Ronnie Jr. won't so randomly be coming after you. We know exactly who
Yeah.
you are and where you got the idea.
Mhm,
So if
mhm,
you
mhm.
decide
Yeah,
you
yeah.
want to come up on
Okay,
this,
we may have to edit this out. Got
we
it.
may have to. We may have to because I'm already finding people, and I don't even know who's. I don't.
Damn.
No, but going back to our point, in New York City alone, in the state of New York, you can have several franchises here alone.
Yeah.
You can have New Jersey, New York City, Brooklyn. You can have, like I'm trying to think of like the Upper
Oh,
East Side
yeah, yeah. I
areas.
mean, you could explore all the different neighborhoods. All the neighborhoods
Exactly.
are different, such as like California has that a little bit too. But
Yeah.
explore all the neighborhoods, and we say it before. I think you were talking about how there's a lot of word on the curb that
Hmm.
Frank and Joe want to do a spinoff. I think really every single person who's had a long run,
Hmm.
even if you're even Teresa, if you're at that level, it doesn't matter. Everyone now should start getting creative and almost get into their executive
Into their own.
producer
Yes.
show pitch mindset, because now is the time to start throwing things out there. A lot of people who used to come at Candy, I think one time she mentioned this and I loved that she finally said this. She goes, everyone wants to talk about me, or whoever, I don't know who was coming at her, but she was saying what
Yeah.
people don't realize is I'm always pitching. We're always in there. We're always coming up with concepts. We're not losing sleep, but at the same time, we're in there. We're going for it. So
Yeah.
just because you see this happen and this happen and this happen, understand that we're putting a lot into making those things happen. And
Yeah.
for whatever successful, or not even successful, but let's say something is greenlit, there's like 17 things. That might be a little much, but there's a lot of things that didn't go through. And
Yeah.
we know that more than anyone, you and I,
Yeah.
such as our careers, because both of us, while we enjoy doing this wonderful youtube.com at Russell X Raymond and
Thank you.
youtube.com/randomly Ronnie Jr. We do love that, and that's part of our lives. Russell and I have been in the big meetings. We've been in the, okay,
Yes.
we're going to move forward on this show, and then it doesn't go, stuff like that. You know, even myself, I'm doing, having a little contribution in morning radio in New York City, at 94.7 The Block with the amazing and gorgeous Miss Jones, Jonesy in the morning. So like we're doing all of the things, but things don't always connect immediately. Yes, jokes and shenanigans. 94.7 The Block.
I was like, where is it? Where is it? Let me find it.
It's all good music. And the thing I love about it is every blue moon, because our demographic might not necessarily be like Housewives per se, but every blue moon we get in there, the times I'm up there, which is like once or twice a week, I show up. But we will sometimes talk about Housewives, and I'm always like, just to let you know, Melissa Gorga, icon of the show. So that feels
Absolutely.
really good because you get on that broadcast and give your opinion to the tri-state area, which the radio station, New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, So anyways, now I personalized it, but my point is every of the cast members needs to be doing that at a time where the network doesn't even really know what they want, to be honest with you. They gotta fill space for Peacock streaming. They've got to fill space for Bravo.
Yeah.
They got to know that Housewives ain't gonna last forever. I mean, there's a lot. They got to know that Watch What Happens Live may not last forever. Although I think it did good once Tom Sandoval's scandal happened. I think that did push a lot of ratings kind of up. But nonetheless, you gotta be looking at your next step. That's every creative person. That's every business person. Yeah.
I mean, look at Blockbuster. Like, we're getting way off topic here, but Blockbuster shut down because Blockbuster didn't move with the times, and all that any television organization, any social media platform, any streaming service, they have to follow the tides of what their audience is demanding, and even not even directly, it could be indirectly. So back when Netflix first came out, the audience was demanding that they wanted things faster at their fingertips. They didn't want to have to worry about getting the last new release on the shelf, even though that was the most satisfying thing that you can ever do, was look someone right in the eye and be like, I got the last new release.
Yeah.
But like, again, everything is evolving. We have new cities that are expanding and doing well with population and new popularity. Austin, Texas is one of them. I know local people from Austin are not happy about the city growing as fast as it is, but you can't stop the inevitable. California is way, 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 way out of price range. Like, you and I have to have 2 to 3 jobs in order to 2 to 3 jobs and a little bit of shadiness in order to survive in California.
Yeah, possibly a sponsor.
Okay,
no.
Possibly a sponsor, maybe an extension cord for the neighbor's house in order to survive in California.
Yeah. Can I get your Wi-Fi?
We are talking about going down, so we might as well talk about Dolores telling Melissa that she's going down.
Okay, the way you transition that, I was like, going down. I said, what kind? We don't talk about that on this show. On this, I was like, well, what's he talking about? Okay, yes.
And now we're headed to our sponsored break. Me on Create the Escape.
Hey. I mean, you gotta flaunt it, man. So I'll do it for you. So put the banner up one more time.
Oh, hold on.
Real quick, and we're gonna get we're gonna get really into Jersey in a second. But it is to be known that if you like, you go into Peacock streaming because you're seeing all of these old reunions, and sometimes even on like Vanderpump Rules, they're now airing a lot of the shows without the bleeping of the curse words and stuff. So Peacock is always doing stuff new and exciting, but they also have a show. When Peacock streaming was launched, this is really exciting. Russell Ray was not only the TV host, one of 3, but he was also a design expert on a show called Create the Escape. It's very much escape rooms, but it's like with like a family dynamic. So yes. and I think the way that we always word this, now I'm your publicist, the way that we always word this is, when you watch Housewives, it's the drama, but when you watch Create the Escape, you just want a wholesome, fun television show with a really wonderful takeaway. Make sure you check that out, and every view does help, believe it or not, it does. So check that out, Peacock streaming, Create the Escape, and you will see multiple episodes of Russell in his television hosting, bag, which is really nice to see. And I'm very proud of you. We can't say it enough.
Thank you.
I get worried. Like, again, I was just talking about my little successes within radio, and I'm talking about your thing with Create the Escape,
And
but
YouTube.
yes, and the YouTube is popping too. But a lot of people will want to turn you down and not let you celebrate the things. Stick to the
Yeah.
script, talk about Jersey. We are full people. I am
Yeah.
with a full belly. I'm all, we're just big personalities who sit back, maintain, come with the heat in terms of the broadcast. But like, I think if you want to, here's what I'm saying: if you want to connect, I don't think you just connect by saying buzzword type stuff. Melissa
Yeah.
Gorga on display, tree huggers, and like make this really staccato-y banter. And you can do that. Anyone else could do that. For
Yeah.
us,
Yeah.
we want to take big conversations. If you notice, Russell knows how I am before we do the show. I always got to sit myself down. I don't like that Teresa at all. Never have. Always thought she was lackluster. Like from the beginning. So this isn't even like, oh, you're just a hater because you like Melissa. No, I was like, this can't be y'all's queen. This is not really. She came at, anyways, that's a side top. We'll do a whole episode devoted to how I never understood that finale Tree did anything. And again, I watch Love and Hip Hop, so I'm like, if you nudge a table, that ain't nothing. I'm used to the bigger action.
Maybe
I'm like,
we can
darlings,
always go into the issues, not the issues, but we can go into after the whole like reunion is done. We can dial back and talk a little bit about Jersey's greatest and worst moments, or like things that were missed that no one ever spoke about.
Yeah. I guess with our programming of our YouTube channels, you never know where it will go. But I just want to say that that's what we do. Anyways, I guess we should get back to it. Yeah, this was insanely dynamic on so many levels. I feel like there's not a lot of times that Melissa just comes for it. But, I guess the question to you is what makes you think, what made you think she did that? Because we've mentioned a couple times where it feels like most of the arguments are just her sort of defending some of the asinine stuff that Teresa does. It isn't very many times, and this is maybe asking why Dolores created that reaction, that Melissa just goes. And Melissa wasn't stopping. I guess I'm passing it right back to you to know what you think that was alluding to. And she said Dolores really said watch out. I mean, she said watch out.
Here's the thing. Jacqueline, as we know, is very outspoken. She's not afraid to speak her mind. She's not afraid to get up there and get in your face. She's not. There was that one reunion where she stuck her chest out and she was very proud, which is like good for you, girl, because like we all do that on this end anyway. But I feel like, because Teresa even said this, Jacqueline is waiting for all of this to air, and then she's gonna come out and the more that airs, the more that Jacqueline's. Matter of fact, let's just check and make sure that Jacqueline hasn't released anything now, because it has been 24 hours since this came out on Bravo. So I would imagine that there is a follow-up here. Jacqueline Larita, okay. And no, has not said a thing, not yet. So she might be waiting for the third part of the reunion to come out in order to really speak her mind. I don't know how I feel about this. Right now, she's just sending out wellness advertisements for brain tap, neutral check, infrared, and hyperbaric oxygen therapy and anti-aging with these doctors. Okay. So that was clearly an ad. But Dolores saying she's going down, I think Dolores knows Jacqueline and how she is as an individual. So Jacqueline is really going to come after Melissa after all of this. And I don't think Jacqueline has anything up her sleeve, because Jacqueline isn't on a gag order. She can say whatever she wants.
So do you think Melissa's goal there was to, like, when Jacqueline got together with Teresa, it felt like on both parties very not it wasn't a credible source, whoever said what they said, because again, it was with the agenda. So I think maybe Melissa's thing was like, okay, I'm going to make sure that it is known that like it goes even deeper. Like let's yeah, basically discrediting, not doing it with no reason, but like
Yeah.
discrediting that, like, well, you're gonna take all this information because it reminds you, as a reminder, this didn't come as like Melissa's like, let me just do this.
Mhm.
Um, even though she did go for the jugular, as I just mentioned, she did it off the conversation that Teresa, somehow says Caroline's wonderful and okay, and doesn't maintain any accountability, but then says, "Oh,
Mhm.
it was my brother. It was Melissa." Like, and then through all these weird ways, how, who, what. So for Melissa's sake, she's like, first of all, no. Second of all, this friend that's telling you, this is how this friend moves. Like, it was to
Yeah.
me, I don't like the tit for tat at all, but it was, to me, it was very important for Melissa to state that to the world. Like, this is what we're talking about. Because to say I mean, I don't love it for these women, but for Teresa, I think there was a moment she goes, you're WHORE.
Yeah, you're
Okay, that's that you this, you that, I hate you. Fine. But when you start doing those bigger conversations, like, well, no, it wasn't Caroline, it was this. This was last episode. They corrected her, of course, and said,
yeah.
well, now wait a minute, your husband. But I just feel like for Melissa's sake, it was good to like cut down that any thought process by anybody who's like, oh, well, look, Jacqueline said. It was just a really good way to maintain that. Well, do we really trust what Jacqueline says? Like do we really?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And even the fact that Andy called out Teresa on the first part of the reunion and said, "You saying anything from Jacqueline is the biggest joke of the century," kind of like really brought it full circle for the whole situation of like, Teresa, you have no consistency with anyone. As soon as they don't fit your narrative, you get rid of them.
Yeah.
And it's really kind of you look at the franchise across the board, how long Teresa's been there. Every time someone doesn't work out with her or for her, they're off the show.
Well, maybe that's why Dolores rides the fence a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? We talked about that a second ago.
Hmm.
Maybe Dolores does like it seems like Dolores sometimes, especially in the after show, sometimes tries to be like, well, Teresa, like to hold her accountable, but
Yeah.
maybe that's why she doesn't fully.
I
Yeah.
mean, Dolores has said from the beginning, Teresa has a bad judge of character just in general.
Mhm.
So I think that's great. That
Well,
like
I mean, she can't add 2 plus 2, so clearly, judgment is, like a
way out the
advanced,
window.
yeah, way out the window.
I mean, and here's the thing too: the
Mm.
internet recently blew up about how mean Andy was being towards Teresa.
But it's just a narrative. That's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
just a narrative. I say it all the time. Like, literally no offense to the Teresa fans. The difference is Melissa fans don't go running and you see how many clips like people will put up, the Teresa fans, of like,
Mhm.
well, Melissa said this, and then they'll like go and search like season after season to find something that would maybe contrast it without any context, put it
Yeah.
together, and then they all retweet it, and it kind of goes somewhere. Melissa
Yeah.
fans don't do that. We don't care. Like, we're more like, I said this the other day. Put my little thing of the YouTube shorts again.
Oh,
I
tell me.
said
Hold on.
this.
Here we go.
No, you don't have to. I said this in a YouTube shorts recently. Go to my YouTube shorts because they are cracking. No, but I said this in a YouTube shorts the other day. I said, while I'm a Melissa Gorga all day, Joe Gorga super fan, and while I don't like Teresa, I think she's as interesting as, paint drying. I still think she has done this for a while. She has made money for the network, so let's give her something. Give her a spin-off, spin her right on off, put her on Peacock streaming or Bravo. I don't care, but let her have a thing. Even though see, that's the difference. Oh, let's
We
see
do
what's
have a
happening.
comment. I wanted you to finish, but I
Uh,
also wanted to pop this up just so you can say it.
not Kay Santos. Oh, no.
Okay, Santos. Teresa needs to stop blaming people for putting her in jail when it's Juicy Joe and her fault at the end of the day.
You read it just like Kay Santos would read it.
Period. Oh, really?
No, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I guess all the truth was what they were talking about when they were previewing what's going to happen on the reunion. Like Andy was saying, it's going to get to a point where Teresa is just like, it's like on a level no one's ever seen. And it is starting to become that way. It's becoming that way where
Well, as
she
the
can't argue her way out of any of these
yeah,
things. She's getting hot and bothered about it, and they did show her leaving the stage
running away. Yep.
in the trailer.
Well, you know
So
what
I
they
don't
say, when
know.
you have one finger pointing at you have three pointing back, or you have one finger pointed at someone else, there's three pointing back at you.
Yeah.
So, and it's true. At the end of the day, you you can claim ignorance, you can claim all these things, like just your husband was hiding things from you. At the end of the day, you are in a marriage and communication is important. No one, neither spouse should be taking care of everything, and you should not be in the dark about your finances. You should not be in the dark about your finances. You should not be in the dark about how your children are being raised. You should not be around in the dark about who your family is surrounded by when it comes to your spouse. So, the
Well,
only
can I
person you can blame is yourself.
the only thing with that is I do have to give a little respect for, like, people's ages and different generations. And there is a little bit of a level. Now, I mean, we knew what happened essentially, but there is a little bit of a level where generationally, there were more traditional roles. I'm not saying it needs to
I
be
get
that way,
that.
but what you're saying makes sense for some, like for like Gia's age. Gia going forward, whoever she dates, she should probably have a lot of that. But
Mhm.
I wow, look at me defending Teresa. I'm just saying, like, I could see how she just didn't maintain that role, but maintained the mother role and the, more of I can see how she overlooked it.
I have an update. Hold on.
Mhm.
Okay, for anybody that just joined, we did get a comment from Kay Santos, and
Mhm.
this is what it said. Teresa needs to stop blaming people for putting her in jail when it's Juicy Joe and her fault at the end of the day. And we made a comment on it, and this is what Kay Santos just said. I I did say it like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's so hard to even come to the defense of Teresa in so many situations, but we will always try. And what I was saying a second ago is, while I'm just like never been intrigued by the gal, would have never been my star of the network or of the show, but okay. On a respect level, she has put in a lot. Like, she said it wrong. She said, like, she said it like Twitter says it to get Melissa all up and bothered, but Melissa wasn't up and bothered because she's like, okay, you went to jail. We should be proud of that. Like, what's happening? But what Teresa was trying to say is, I have been putting myself out there for so many years. On a principle level, then yes, she does need to, like, not need to, but there could be a respect for that. You have been at this for a long time. But I think really it's time to sink or swim in terms of, like, let's give her a spinoff, Bravo or Peacock streaming, and let's see if she's dynamic elsewhere.
Yeah,
And I would even say that because one could say, oh, of course you would say that because Jersey Housewives is the big hit. Spinoffs are a little tougher. No, okay. Keep Jersey, keep Teresa. Give me the Melissa and Joe show. I'll be right there watching the Melissa and Joe show
absolutely.
because that's who I like.
Yeah.
So there's no excuses that could be made. And to further the Teresa conversation, everyone got real excited. I did not watch it. Um, I'm so glad. I thought it was 3 episodes. But anyway, the bigger point is the ratings went well. Wonderful. That's great. But what does the show look like when you no longer have your new husband and it's like we're fighting, it's us against the world. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Go do a show together. Now let's see what really happens. Keep in that case, keep Melissa and Joe's name out your mouth. Go do your spinoff, and now let's really see who the gentleman is that you brought into your orbit that did not have a prenup, from what we're hearing, and has moved in so many ways in his past. I don't even care to bring it all up. It doesn't matter. And go see what creating a show will be like. Go see what creating drama, because you have to create drama in the show.
Mhm.
Go for it. I'm 1,000%, and I'm not even hoping like she falls on her butt, but go do the You show, the Teresa show, and whoever wants to be a fan of that, go watch it. Go watch it.
I wouldn't. No, like, I honestly wouldn't, and here's the reason why. It's not even because I don't find Teresa entertaining. I would watch Teresa because Teresa is entertaining. She does her job as an entertainer. I do not want to watch her husband.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch her husband because I think her husband seems to be a vile individual,
But
And
remember, she
her
said
husband
he.
is bringing Danielle Staub to the franchise, original Danielle Staub, before
Wait,
she
what? Wait,
became a
wait,
nice person.
wait. What do you mean?
Like, that's the energy he's giving. Remember when she
Mm,
when she went to the brownstone and she was saying, "There's guys with guns here that are here to protect me." Like, he is very much bringing that energy, and nobody wants that around.
mm,
So I don't see him lasting very long in the franchise. I don't even see, even if he does make it another season, I don't see Bravo keeping him on long term. I
mm.
see them sticking with Teresa and him being a shadow figure and having very, 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 very minimal camera time if he keeps continuing to do and use threats the way that he is.
I just always laughed the way Teresa goes, "Oh no, he didn't want to be on the show. He didn't want to be on. He didn't want to be on the show. He didn't want to. He didn't want to be on the show.
He want to be on the show.
He wanted to be on the show. He wanted to
He
be on the
wanted to be
show."
on the show. Oh my god, we're so funny. People just don't get us. No, people absolutely do get us.
They absolutely do get us.
Let's go down to the nice Jewish. Oh, uh-oh. Kay Santos is speaking on it again. Oh yeah, okay. So we won't dig too much into this because we don't want to give him light. But there
Mm.
have been some shady things. Some shady things. And the only way that
I'm
we
trying to take.
know.
I'm trying to take a deep breath, and there is the world's worst air quality in New York City, so I can't take a deep breath. I gotta drink my drink, but keep going. I'm over here like.
Yes. This did come out recently. And hey, like they say, the truth shall unveil itself eventually, and all things will come out if you keep trying to hide it. So I think this is um Louis coming. This is terrible timing, by the way. Louis coming out moment
Mhm.
in the middle of Pride Month.
Pride, a deeper love. Pride, a deeper love. Pride, a deeper love. Whoa, 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 whoa. No,
Yep.
go ahead, girl. Go ahead, Louis. No,
Okay, Louis.
can I
But
tell you
all the
one?
things about Louis are coming out, and
Mhm,
it's like,
mhm.
oh,
You know what
you
I was
messed
thinking
with
the
the
other day?
wrong beast. NBC Universal is the conglomerate of
Mhm,
all conglomerates,
mhm.
and in a good way. Like, there's a huge fan base. Like,
Right.
everybody relates to NBC Universal, just like everybody relates to Disney. Okay, like those are two major networks. So you gotta know that people are just going to find every ounce of information about you. So you
Mhm.
coming on a television show like this, your information was bound to come out. And now we're starting to see these things happen. So
Yeah. Well, the thing is, and
sorry,
I'm
Louis,
going
all things must come to an end.
I'm going off an example. I'm leaving your example, going to something different, but to what you were
Mhm.
saying within the structure and the power of these networks or whatever. You know, somebody as wonderful. Well, you didn't like her, but somebody as vibrant on TV, we'll say, as a Brandy Glanville. Like
I
once.
knew you were gonna say that.
Well, I corrected my words as I said it.
You're gonna go ahead and
Once.
get a solo shot on this one.
What? No, because it's not me advocating for her or not advocating for her, but I'm saying once once it's over, it's kind of like over. You know, it ends up being gone are the days of like, oh, okay, well, I'm not on Housewives or I'm making little features on Housewives, but let me go do Peacock streamings. Had the what was the show called she did that people really liked? Kate Chastain was on it. Kyle Cook from Summer House was on it. It was Alan Cummings was the host. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. It was
Traders.
Dungeon. What's it called?
Traders.
Trade. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Traders. You should have been on
Yes.
the damn show. Peacock streaming. What's up?
Okay.
But anyways,
It's okay, it's
my
okay.
point
time
is.
is coming. We have a lot of things in the works.
Okay. Good. Right. Yes. I know it all. I know everything. No.
We talked about these things, Ronnie.
Yes. We know everything. I know everything. No, but it's like that thing is you just can never. I'm always for a talent. I don't know. I guess reality stars, you do have to call yourself a talent to represent themselves well and to own their value. But when you start getting to that level, like you're bigger than the network, it just has not worked for other people. You know, not that Brandy Glanville
Yeah.
did that, but she did something that created such a mess, a muck, and then there's no coming back from that, at least in the short term. Nene Leakes
Yeah.
situation is slightly different, so I don't want to get into it because I believe it had some legalities to it. So I
Yeah.
want to give a little bit of potential availability that whatever was stated on her end was true, because I don't know. I don't like Nene whatsoever, but also I don't like harassment of any sort. But in terms of Nene's word, it's always a little funny. But in terms of the bigger picture, Nene's like Housewives of Atlanta is doing so bad, supposedly, even though I love Kenya Moore and Candy. And then there's a lot of talks like stirring around who comes back. Does Portia come back? And unfortunately, Nene's name never gets to be brought back up because you cannot
Yeah.
say, I'm going to tell NBC Universal what to do, even if you're the star of Real Housewives
Yeah.
in New Jersey. You want people to have spite against you, that's the way to do it. And I mean, I don't know. Okay, I got to get away from Louis. So let's talk about what I've been
Can't get away
thinking.
from it. We're going to Jen Fessler and the Nice Jewish Girls, as they called them
Yes,
on
yes, yes, yes,
the
yes.
reunion. I was actually surprised for Jen to say that she doesn't recognize herself when she sees herself in the mirror, because I still think she looks very much the same. And like, grant you, when you get work done, that's probably the last thing you want someone to say is like, well, you look the same. But like, I think she's a beautiful woman. I think she's a beautiful woman. She looks great. I think Jackie looks great. I do think it's a little borderline to mention, like, you have to be careful when someone with an eating disorder, when you compliment them in a certain way, because you don't want them to, like, you don't want anything to cause them to go down the slippery slope again. But
Mhm.
I do think Jackie is radiating positivity and happiness, and she looks great. And the fact
Yeah.
that she decided to step back and take the friend role this season and really just kind of leaned into it and made it her own, I'm happy for her. I'm happy for her. I'm happy that her book
Jackie
is coming out.
Goldschneider, in this season, even though she's got some haters, everyone does, but for the most part, she does showcase that what's meant for me will be, because
Yeah,
for whatever reason, she still maintained on the show. Lots of people who really like her still do like her. She
yeah,
got the book out, she made a pivot, and I believe almost like she created a space where you always want to keep people wanting more from you.
mhm,
And on some level, it didn't really become a huge deterrent. Now, in this tiny world of Jersey Housewives, maybe it was a little embarrassing, because that will always be. But
mhm.
in the big scheme of things, in the long game, in the big picture, I think it's actually a pretty cool reshift for her. I thought she looked beautiful, not giving any acknowledgement on if she gained weight, lost weight. I don't really know. I guess the face was a little bit more full, which is fine. But I also was more attracted to her glow. And what was it, like a
My God,
60s like style haircut? Like,
glowing, absolutely.
yeah, yeah. So it really does I mean, now if you have conversations with your friends and family, like, oh, I feel a little lesser than that's there's no problem with that too. But when you get on that stage, you wear that big smile, and you just create such a sense of confidence, because I always say no show, no opportunity is to ever define you. You
Yeah,
know why? Because we're always going to have peaks and valleys with all the things we do.
yeah.
And you shouldn't let things define you the same way I always, well, that's a tangent, so don't want to get into it. But the reason Russell, I can't speak for you, but I very confident man, and I try to have confidence in a world where other people would say, well, oh, your numbers aren't popping, or you're not big on social
Mhm,
media. Great.
mhm,
That was never my goal or my aim. I mean, it is now because it is a business. But the
mhm.
point is, I was never going to do some lame ass shit in order to achieve that. I wanted to bring you a good show, to what I think is a good show. That could be subjective, of course. And the bigger thing is, you're not going to have randomly Ronnie Jr. That's me. You're not going to have randomly Ronnie Jr. only feel a sense of value once, the radio station, makes a move, or the network makes a move, or, I've been on television a couple times, or, Spotify throws a check. Like, I I wish and want for all those things, but I'm never going to count myself out when I'm not at that other level, because you decide when you're the shit. You see,
For sure, for
you
sure.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to get back to myself. Here we go. Hi, that's me. Um, no, for sure. You definitely, and like I said, like last week when that person commented on the show and said, "Did you really lead in with a fake applause?" Like, absolutely, I led into a fake applause. Do you think all those television shows and sitcoms that you watch today that have an applause is a live audience? It's not. Like,
Oh,
we're bringing you entertainment. So, anyways, with that being said, um, I
what are the final takeaways from the entire episode for you? Do you get excited looking forward to the men coming to the last episode? Do you think we're gonna have that warm moment where they do the champagne as usual, or is this just completely too
No,
far
I think
gone?
they'll do the champagne. I think they'll do the champagne because I think everything will kind of get released. But I'm most excited to see this end and to watch the restructure happen, which is
Mm,
why they're on hiatus right now. They're not filming, which some of the women are very relieved because they're going on vacations and doing things
mhm,
for the first time in a long time. So I'm just excited to see how the network is going to structure Real Housewives of New Jersey, or if they're actually going to pull the plug, which that's okay too. I get it. Someone loses a check, but there's plenty of space in the Bravo verse for everybody who's been on Housewives.
mm,
There's Ultimate Girls Trip. You can go on Traders. There's a lot of different outlets that you can do these things. So I don't think it would be the end all be all for anybody on the Real Housewives of New Jersey. I think there's definitely outlets that they can pursue. I for sure would see Dolores making an appearance in Ultimate Girls Trip because I think she's
mhm.
fun. I think she's great. Um, but I'm excited to see where this resolution ends because I don't think Andy is going to let the reunion wrap without a resolution between Teresa and Melissa, whether it's good or bad or indifferent. He's definitely going to have
Well, it's not
them
even on
have their
him. What if what
final
if what if
stances.
what if they don't come to that resolution? It's also on them too.
True, but I like again, like a resolution doesn't mean they have to be at a truce, but the just I guess it does have to be at a truce. You being your end, I'll be in my end, but I just
Yeah.
want to see where this ends.
Well, I'm gonna tell you
Because
one thing.
no
Go ahead.
filming, no show release, none of that. No speculation, no social media sharing, no anticipation of everything that hasn't been released. See what I mean? Like sometime maybe it'll be better for them to go back into a private life somewhat.
Yeah. Well, I always say each cast member needs to get off that hamster wheel every once in a while because you start like not living for you, you start living for the
Mhm.
show, and then
Mhm.
it's a over accentuated version of yourself, and you have to
Mhm.
quote unquote produce something. And I
Mhm.
think when you've always done that, never really had a break, that can be damaging on like a really human level. The same way I say everyone's always like, but you got to post more TikToks, you got to post more reels and YouTube shorts. I'm like, I get what needs to happen. I'm talking
Mhm.
about in the long game for my mental health.
Mhm.
I don't want to. You ever wonder why you don't sleep well? It's because of all of that, you know.
'Cause your mind
So
is
there's kind of like a
going.
similar, huh?
'Cause your mind is just going.
Yeah, you've developed your mind to have like these neurological ticks to move so fast that when you're
Yeah.
just like hanging out, was it Friday? Friday, it was raining in New York City.
Mhm.
And I was just sitting there watching Sex in the City,
Oh,
cleaning, I had some candles by myself. And
yes.
but it takes a little bit because we're just so used to it. You know, I do the radio show sometimes, and I had done
Yeah.
the radio show that morning, and it's like we get there about 5:30 to like 10:30, and it's
Mhm.
like boom, 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 boom. So many things are coming in and out, and I love it. It's exciting. It's almost like
Yeah.
adrenaline, but it does keep the mind a little active. So then you have to teach yourself how to slow it down. With these women too, with Teresa, she's only been giving stuff and knowing that even if I'm out of line, even if I'm not accountable, I still make great TV. Oh,
Yeah.
you don't think that's going to have a psychological issue on you? It is. Okay. The
Yeah.
last thing I was going to ask you, I wanted to ask you, what do you
Ask.
think about Margaret in general? The way Twitter thinks next season Margaret's going to be taken down. Why does it always have to be one person takedown? But anyways, so hold that thought because I
Okay.
really got to get this one out because I've been meaning to tell you this for a while.
Ooh.
So get ready on Margaret, start
Okay.
developing.
Okay.
All I could think of lately, and I'm not going to go down the Louisism of it all I could think of, maybe I just been thinking about it from my own personal views. Oh, all I could think about is why did Teresa not get with the pool guy?
Oh
Remember
my
the
god! Okay, 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 okay,
mm,
okay, okay, okay.
mm, mm,
I'm
mm.
gonna start with Margaret, and then I'm gonna go right into that. Okay. So, oh my god, it's so funny you said that. Okay. Margaret, I don't think that there's anything to take down with Margaret. If anything, I think Margaret's gonna come in just chest high, head high, and
Mhm.
she's coming for anyone who comes out. Because once you get your kids involved, there's an issue. And
Yeah.
Margaret's kids have now allegedly been harassed at work, at their place of employment.
Mm.
So I see Margaret coming for anybody who messes with her next season. I don't see them taking her down. I don't see Margaret's not the type to fall very easily. She's a very nonchalant, roll the things off the bat kind of lady. But at the end of the day, she is very protective and she takes care of her own. And I've seen that since day one. And she's not going to let anybody take her down. Now with Teresa and the pool boy, it's so funny because I just had a conversation before you and I logged on the way to where I'm staying, like right after I landed in New York. And we were all talking about the reunion.
Mm.
And because I was watching it on my phone and I was watching it for the second time today. I watched it the first time this morning at 3 a.m. So I was watching it again just to get a little bit of a refresher. And everybody was talking about why did Teresa pass up the pool boy? Like he was the ultimate good person, good work ethic, just
Mhm.
kind-hearted. And she went for the psycho. And this is kind of rough because they say don't talk about the dead. So
But the disclaimer up. I don't even know what you're about to say, by the way, at all.
they say like respect the dead and don't talk about the dead. But
Mm.
they also Teresa and Joe have both
Mhm.
spoken about how passionate and aggressive their father was back in the day.
Oh, right. That's
And
been on the show.
And they always say the old saying is, and this could be wrong in a facade, but they say you bring home someone like your father or you bring home someone like your mother. I don't know how much that relates to you and I in our world, but
Mhm, mhm.
I am drawing similarities to how Louis acts to the way that Teresa and Joe have described how Nono act back in the day. Teresa said that her dad used to flip tables all the time,
Mhm.
that he used to let his presence be known, and that's what Louis is doing. Whether it's in a positive or negative way, that's a whole different situation. But the aspect of the bullet point, like I am to be known, you're going to hear me, is
Mhm.
exactly what Louis is. And the pool guy was a little bit more laid back, relaxed, a little bit more like Teresa's mom, actually. Just,
Mhm.
just real cool, go with the flow. He would have fit in great with Paulie. He would have fit in great
Mhm.
with Joe, and he would have fit in great with Frank. So
Yeah.
I think that was a missed opportunity because they've known each other for a long time, right? Since high school
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Which may have made it a reason it wouldn't have worked, but,
No, I
I
think no, like hear me out on this. If you know someone from high school and you never dated and you're at your next stage in life and you're both grown and you've grown as individuals and you've gone and lived life and then now you're coming back together and it works,
Mm.
that's a good thing. And I think that can happen and is a better scenario than most people just going out into the world and us finding someone to date and then not knowing what we're getting at the end of the day.
Well,
Like you know this person's principles.
maybe the pool guy knows, not Joe, I like you, we're friends, but
Mhm.
not your sister and her
Mhm.
weird morals. But that is a really interesting point, and again, we're not saying it in a negative way, but
Yeah.
I'm going to what you said a second ago, what a dynamic it is, especially if you've got so much, like, love for this parent,
Mhm.
because a lot of times the situation is different. You don't have love for the parent who does some of these things, and I'm not equating what Nono did to anyone else, but like it doesn't always work that way. But in
Yeah.
Teresa's case, it did. Joe's stating that, wasn't as warm as what you saw on the TV all the time. And then what that could do to somebody. Look at me acting like I'm a therapist today because I'm always referring to the psychology. But let's be honest, the psychology then puts you in a space where you have to do some type of resolution in your head to have love for somebody who is willing to do like some tougher things. Now,
Yeah.
no equation to who you said, the father, and what this new man are doing, no equation whatsoever. Let's be clear
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
But it's the same principle that allows you to be like, I can be okay with these things because I know how to love somebody despite their
Mm.
errors. Because I'm a
Mm.
little bit different. I'm like, you come with the errors,
That's
fuck you
deep.
freely. Let's go. Like
No,
goodbye.
let's just sit in that for a second. That was deep what you just said. Say that one more time. I want to hear it again because the way that you articulated that was just so like it was so impeccable. It really kind of opened my eyes to something.
Mhm.
So just state that whole, not the whole scenario, but just the last few parts of that.
Okay, well, when you have a issue and you've grown up in an issue where there are some things that are, a little as alluded on the show,
Mhm.
they're
Mhm.
a little more violent, not violent, but a little more harsh.
Yeah.
You are now training your mind all through your growing up adolescence to know how to love so much that particular person, which in this case would be
Mhm.
Teresa's father,
Mhm.
but also excusing and making a resolution
Mhm.
for their bad behavior. So then when you go into a space of dating, you can do the same thing. This new guy that Teresa's involved with can do a lot of things that are
Mhm.
maybe not the best interest of her, but she has a way to click in and out. Well, I love him though. And these are just some of the things that comes with love because she saw it as
Mm.
she saw it growing up. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was good. That
Thanks.
was good. And you know what?
I
That
mean,
was a
sad but true. Yeah.
and you know, it is sad but true, but that can also, the fact that you just said that can enlighten people who come across this.
Mhm.
Whether it's 10 people, 100 people, 30 people, if they can get to that statement right there and recognize something within their own relationship in their own life, it can help them prosper. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to bring you entertainment, but we're also here to spread our knowledge and bring happiness and joy. And so, like, know that you unconsciously, so what you're saying is you unconsciously create these patterns and figure out a way to love someone even when it's difficult to love them because they might be overly passionate more than you agree with, but you've learned these ways in your past how to love someone like this, so it's hard to recognize it when it happens.
Well, because you either go one way or the other. You
Yes.
either completely go into a space of accepting, which may translate into your own
Hmm.
relationship going forward, or you go into a space of, I saw it, let's say in this case, like I didn't like it, my mother had to be around it, and you don't want you draw a line. So
Hmm.
in Teresa's case, it's maybe she didn't draw a line. And the other weird thing about us saying we really wish she would have dated the pool guy is that I think it happened because it happened with Cynthia Bailey in Housewives of Atlanta, where she fresh off the divorce, it was like it's weird, and this happens a lot in real life and on the show, where they don't necessarily want to they double check and triple check the agenda or the intentions of like the first or second guy that comes to the table,
Hmm.
but by that third, they let that guy just kind of come right in, which is so weird because it did seem like, and this is again never equating Mike Hill to Cynthia to Teresa and this guy. I don't even mention the guy's name. I call him this guy. Um, but they end up being like guy number one, first time dating. It's a little awkward and odd. Oh, Cynthia Bailey and her friends. Do we trust your intentions? Oh, you've been on a TV show. You just want the limelight. And then in reality, Cynthia Bailey married Mike Hill, who wanted nothing but the limelight. And I remember
Mm.
saying it in my head. I said, because of the way they took her off the show was, oh, she got her happy ending off the show. They were divorced in less than a year. He didn't want to be with, and this is just an honest thought.
Okay.
I'm not. I'll just say it like I'll say it the different way. If Cynthia was still on the show, Mike Hill would probably still be married to Cynthia.
Ooh. That no, that's a hard pill
Why?
to
Why?
swallow
Why?
because when you're
Why?
in this
Why?
world and you're in this industry, it's really hard to separate love and opportunist,
Mm-hmm.
opportunist
Well,
mentality.
this is why what you probably need to do, and I've said this for years, you probably need to. There's nothing wrong if I go outside in this smog and see a FedEx driver with a fat booty and these tight shorts. Although FedEx is a good job, so what am I talking about? But my point is, when you could live a life of anonymity as a FedEx
Mhm.
driver, but then another person, and I'm not really anybody per se, but when you, let's say you're a Teresa, you're of that level, or any of these people who are on the show,
Uh-huh.
you're willing to give all of your stuff, and that person can come right in. You can't just let people in so easily, is what I'm saying. But again, a
Got
fat
it.
booty and a FedEx truck will take me to a place. Will take me to a place. Take me higher.
Oh my goodness.
So we're all
Well,
not perfect. Sometimes we're just stigmatized, and that's okay too. Yes, 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 yes.
Well,
I think
with that
we
being
gotta
said,
end.
we are going to wrap. The men and
Hmm.
husbands, ex-husbands are going to join us on the third and final part of the Real Housewives of New Jersey season 13. Once again, I'm Russell Ray, here with my co-host with the most, Ronnie Jr. If you did happen to join us late, please play this back. Listen to Ronnie's words of wisdom. That is going to be a new hashtag. And go ahead and check out both of our YouTube channels. You can check out Ronnie at Randomly Ronnie Jr. You can also see me on the Peacock channel. I create the escape. And you can also slip into my DMs and send me your questions. Until then,
Careful.
we'll see you next week. Bye.